It was very good. What up, y'all? Sir Cash here. Breezy, she ain't gonna say her name. Anyways, we just came from Slim and
Queen.
Queen.
Queen and Slim?
Queen and Slim, Slim and Queen.
One of them.
Anyways, it's time for a review. First things first. This movie is pretty authentic. I will say that. This is a very authentic movie as far as the casting, the vehicles, the locations, the music, and the characters. A lot of movies try to portray Southern people as basically regular ass people, and that's not necessarily true, because Southern people have their own specific style and swing, and even when the characters move from one place to another, you can tell based off of the characters in the actual movie. So let's go ahead, and this thing is going to be filled with spoilers, obviously. This is a spoiler show.
Can I see that?
Of course you can. Anyways, it's about 9 something. It's a little bit light. So we have our Slim, which is our black character, and then we have Queen, and they're never referred to as those two characters. I didn't get the name. I was paying attention more to the story than the name. So essentially, she is a lawyer, and they met on Tinder, and this was actually the first day they met. He said that he sent her a message 3 weeks ago, and she never did respond until she lost an important case, and then she decided to hit him up because she didn't want to be alone. So she really wasn't into him, she just didn't want to be alone. During the process of them leaving the restaurant, they get pulled over by an arrogant cop. It's that one dude who's a dick, who just wants to be difficult for no reason, and he chooses to essentially think that they're drinking, or think that Slim is drinking and driving, which he isn't. He went to snatch her phone because he was playing some music on the radio. He went to take her phone, and when he did that, he jerked the car. So the cop thought that he was drinking and driving. We find out later that the cop actually had killed somebody else 2 years before. Anyways, the cop proceeds to ask to search the trunk, and there was nothing in there. The woman, who's obviously a lawyer, she's like, did you have permission? You don't have a warrant to search. And the cop's like, he gave me permission. The woman gets out the car. He eventually says, hey, I'm reaching for my phone, I want to record. The cop overreacts, turns and shoots her in the leg. Slim proceeds to grab the gun, or wrestle with the cop, knocks the gun out of the cop's hand, picks up the gun and shoots the cop. She actually says, let's leave. She's the lawyer, so she's the one who decided, hey, let's leave. And so when they left, they're officially on the run. The story proceeds as them. She needed to go to her uncle's house, who's in Louisiana, and that's essentially the journey that they take to eventually their demise. I know I'm kind of missing a lot of stuff, but we're not going to talk about the story, because if you're going to see the movie, you're going to see the movie, right?
You already spoiled it.
I said it was full of spoilers, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It'd be like 15 minutes of me explaining.
Yeah.
Anyways, I want to know, what do you think of the movie? And what do you think the message that it's conveying? Because there's so many different characteristics and so many different actual things that happen. Influence is a very underlying theme of the movie. Very lot of influence. Niggas is not for you all the time.
Right. Like the nigga that took the money.
Right.
And he gave a lot of clues too. He said, y'all changed my life, meeting y'all. And then he pulled out like he had something to hide. Did you see the way he pulled out the parking lot when he dropped them off?
Huh. No, I didn't.
He pulled out like he had some shit he had to do.
Right.
But he drove there all easy, calm, and collected. Because he knew he had some money.
Right. Every nigga in the show had some type of hood car, and the man that she's talking about. So eventually, Queen and Slim are trying to get to Cuba, and so they originally started in Ohio, made it all the way down to Savannah, Georgia, and this is what you see in the trailers when they're opening up the actual garage shed. It's a cop. The cop sees them. The cop eventually lets them go, and so they meet another black dude, and the black dude is like, "Hey, I can get you to a plane," and we find out earlier in the movie that they have a $250,000 bounty on each of them. So basically $500,000. Yeah. So niggas will roll on you for money. But what I talked about as far as influence, okay, so along the way, after Queen meets her uncle, she gets him, he gives them a car to go around in. The car eventually breaks down. They end up going to a mechanic shop. They're pressuring the mechanic, hey, we need this car fixed, we need to get it fixed. And the Queen, she doesn't want to leave the vehicle, so she eventually says, hey, can you fix it? He's like, hey, look, you all up in my space, I need you to back up, let me give you some insurance. I'm gonna give you, basically, I'm gonna tell my son to take you guys around, so you know, you'll know that I ain't taking your shit. Well, the boy sees Queen and Slim as heroes, and there is a huge influence right there, because the boy looks up to them for killing that cop, even though they say it was in self-defense. He sees that as that's what that cop gets, because that cop killed another black man a couple of years earlier. And so there happens to be a police riot or a protest happening where the police are all lining up, and it was very interesting. The police started throwing tear gas to disperse the crowds. The boy comes up, and essentially, you know, the crowd started dispersing, but the kid gets confronted by a cop, and it happened to be a black cop. And so the black cop was like, look, dude, I just want you to go home. If you don't leave, I will arrest you. He's like, you gonna shoot me? You gonna kill me? You gonna shoot me? He's like, no, I will arrest you, but man, just go home. What does the kid do? Pulls out a gun and shoots and kills the cop in the face. Why? Because he was influenced by Queen and Slim. And so that's very interesting.
But falsely influenced.
Right. He took that the wrong way. He took their self-defense as a means of killing the police officers or killing the black cop. And the black cop was not an aggressor. He did not want to do anything wrong.
He wanted him to go home and be safe.
Yeah. He had that look in his eye. See, the acting in this movie, superb. Very superb. Because he conveyed the action of, hey man, please don't make me do this. I want you to go home. You know I'm a cop. I want you to go home. But the kid was so riled up and he was so amped. He just pulled out a gun and shot and killed the cop. I mean, like 5 feet, just point blank killed him. And they never did show what happened to the kid. Did he get killed or did he get arrested? They never did show what happened.
You seen the father crying though.
Right.
At the end of the movie.
Right.
He was watching the news. Clearly he was inspired by them.
Right.
But
it is
sad.
It's a very emotional, provoking movie, and when you come into a movie like that, you need to understand that you are about to see something that isn't far-fetched. This isn't some Marvel superheroes. This isn't anything. This is real life for black people. You know, black people will say we get harassed by the police. White people or certain people will say, well, statistically, white people get killed more by the cops than black people. We don't care about that. We care about our experience, and if our experience is dictated by if we come across a rotten cop or so, then we're going to talk about that, because our word spreads. We'll put it in our music, it'll be in our culture, and that just spreads, and then we don't realize that our seeds are seeing that, and they're automatically hostile to the police officers. Why? They hear it in their music, they see it on TV. They might have even had that same experience themselves with an overzealous cop at school, right?
Did white people forget that there's more of them than it is us?
I don't know. I mean, they can't have. They couldn't have.
It's more of them
Than us.
than us.
you can also say that there's so many underlying messages of the movie. They both, remember, they met on Tinder. This is the first, so this whole thing happened within a span of 3 days. The whole movie takes a span of 3 days. So when they first meet each other, they're arguing. You know, he's a loud chewer, she don't like certain things, and essentially they grow to essentially love each other. And in 3 days, they go from essentially strangers on Tinder to essentially, essentially loving each other and having this 100% bond. People look at them like a Bonnie and Clyde, but Bonnie and Clyde just did bad shit together. These wasn't Bonnie and Clyde type people. I don't think that's a fair comparison. Bonnie and Clyde always gets compared to a bad couple. They wasn't a bad couple. They were a couple that got placed in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? And so there's so many lessons that you can take from the movie, but the lesson that I took from the movie was more of a, whatever choice that you're going to make and whoever you're with making that choice, you need to understand that your influence is going to reach beyond what you think it is. You know, because people are watching, especially if it hits news or anything like that. Choices have consequences. People are watching.
And everybody they came in contact with knew who they were.
Right.
Everybody.
They cut their hair. Obviously, this stuff you see in the trailers, they went from, you know, he had some, I don't know, nigga fro, and she had she had braids. And that's one thing. I think this movie kind of underlying shows that you didn't need your braids to be cute, because to me, she looked better off of the braids, and she just had short hair. It was kind of, you know, up. It wasn't a fro. She was a beautiful woman, and she looked better with her natural hair than she did with braids. Very beautiful. And I think that's an underlying term. Like, women, you don't have to necessarily, you know, do things. You can look beautiful in your natural hair. If your hair ain't long or whatever, you don't have to do extensions. And this movie kind of glorifies the black woman, because she was there with him. Even though she was giving him a hard time and he was giving her a hard time, you know, she eventually wanted to be his legacy, wanted to be his ride or die. And there's a very powerful scene at the end of the movie where she ends up getting shot by a cop for no reason, because she goes to turn to him and says, "I want to be your legacy." And a white woman, Sandra Bland, or not Sandra Bland, but that Becky woman in Tulsa, essentially, basically a white woman just pops and kills her for no good reason.
You mean Shelby?
Shelby, Betty Shelby. That's a basic white name. That's a basic. I'm sorry, Sandra Bland. She was a black woman who was actually, Anyways, Betty Shelby kills her for no good reason. And at the end of the movie, after he looks at her body on the ground, she got shot right through the chest, so she's gone. He picks her up and he starts walking to the police officers, and they're telling him to basically put her down. We will shoot you. You're armed and dangerous. If a man is carrying a woman who is lifeless, there's no way he can reach for a gun. No cop tries to actually, and that's what's crazy. The only cop who was trying to be cordial, there was two cops who was very cordial, and they were both black cops.
Yeah.
White cops were overzealous and scared and basically gung-ho. But the black cops did not want to do that. Actually, the black cop let them go when they were in the garage, and the black cop tried to stop the kid before essentially the kid killed him. Mm-hmm. And so he was carrying her body, and that, I think that's very symbolic of black women are for us, but we need to carry them when they might not be able to. We need to be there for them. You can love who you love. You love white, black, Asian, whatever. But there is a special bond when a black man and a black woman get their shit together, and we're not fighting with each other, and we're actually just on the same team. That's what I got from it.
Because it's rare.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about their love making scene, though.
Oh man, it was a hot love making scene. Tell you that much. Boy, she is bad. I think they was really smashing, because he was booty naked and she was booty naked, and there was some
I thought it was gonna be some PG-13 type shit.
No, that was,
they took their clothes off and had the door open on the passenger
Yeah. I mean, this is a passion scene. You're with somebody you're wanted. You know that the road more than likely is going to end in death. So when they decided to have sex and she finally let down her guard, it was nothing but straight emotion, straight love, straight. You're all I know. You're my whole world. And when we are in this right now, this is all we got.
And that's what 2 days of knowing each other.
Right. Absolutely.
So all guards were let down. The trust was there. The love was there. Everything was fucking. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah. So.
Man, it was beautiful.
What do you think about the movie? Because I've been talking. Because I can chit chat.
We can chit chat all day. Well, I missed the first part of it, unfortunately, because fucking woman was taking forever to eat my popcorn and nachos. But as far as what I think about it, I think it was very relevant to today's times as far as what's going on with black people, police, and just the culture itself. And I really enjoyed the love story part of it, like for sure. I don't really like how they try to compare them to Bonnie and Clyde, but it definitely has its own identity if you watch the movie.
Right. See,
So
Bonnie and
that's what I
Clyde took
appreciate
life.
about it. Yeah, they didn't take life.
Yeah, they wasn't going around trying to take life. That's the big difference. So I don't like that. I don't like that
To
comparison.
me, the movie was more so love. It was not greed, money, all that other bullshit that don't matter. It was love, because life is love. Love is life. Like,
Right.
and when she died, he picked her up. He knew. I thought he was gonna kiss her,
Mm-hmm.
but he picked her up and he was like, "Shit, fuck it, I'm going too.
Right.
They gonna kill you. They gonna kill me."
Yeah, this was no set it off. He wasn't. He didn't pull out the gun and then just go out in a blaze of glory. He held his woman and he died with his woman in his hand.
3 fucking days of knowing each other. That is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
Is that you?
Yeah. That's it.
Oh, sorry. I'm like, where's it at?
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good movie.
I'm over here reminiscing and all this shit.
All right. So get you in the camera some more. What do you rate it? What do you rate this movie on a scale of 10?
Say about a 7.5.
7.5.
Mhm.
I would say I'm gonna give this movie a 9. The reason why I give it a 9 is because the characters,
Okay.
the music,
Okay.
the scenery, the choice of vehicles, the story, and the complexity of the actual movie. Because this movie isn't a basic popcorn movie. This movie's going to get you in your seat and it's going to keep you gripped. Because if I'm in a movie and I want to see what's going to happen next and I don't want to go to the bathroom, I did go to the bathroom, but it was only during like a dance scene. So I knew, okay, I got a little bit
But
of
the
time.
dancing was something you should have seen. Just like I should have seen the beginning of it that I fucking missed.
Mhm.
The dance scene is something you should have seen, because that's when you seen her slowly letting her guard down. When they were dancing, they looked like they were about to kiss, and she looked at him and she was like, are you gonna give me a drink that you promised me? So he went to go get the drink, and then she was up against the wall like, okay, I'm feeling him.
Mhm.
That's when it started. So you missed out. I missed out too.
Yeah, but I got what you missed. You got what I missed, and that's what makes this movie rate high. Because I've seen good movies, but those are movies that I'll watch once. Good movies that I rate higher, like movies like The Joker. That was a very good, complex.
Seen that?
Oh yeah, you haven't seen Joker?
No.
Oh
Did you do a review on it?
no, we're gonna have to go see The Joker. But anyways, it's a very good movie. I highly recommend the movie.
All these fucking bitches hitting you up. Can we just do a review without these bitches hitting you up?
One of them
What
was
if I
Bobby.
bore and shit?
One was Bobby.
Oh, I thought there was a girl.
It was Bobby.
Go ahead.
And
Sorry.
so, nah. But I believe that this movie is something that you really want to see. You can see it by yourself, see it with somebody significant, see it with your friend. But go into this movie with an open mind, understand what's going to happen. And it's good. It's very good. Movies like this don't come out often, so to see this movie and Joker in the same year is very good. It's a very good storytelling. And I think the director was a woman.
I don't know.
That last name said produced by, it looked like a woman.
I'm not sure, but if you like the movie Love and Basketball, which, I mean, I'm not comparing them, but if you like that movie, if you like Love Jones, and these are all classic movies, you'll like this one.
Is this a classic? Will this movie be a classic?
Yeah, I think it'll be a classic.
This
Even
will.
though I think it's a 7.5 right now. But at the same time, it also depends if you go to the movie or if you see the movie sober. Because we all know if you're doing something under the influence, it's going to affect how you see and how you feel shit. So,
sippy.
but I appreciated it though, honestly. It was
Water.
better than what I expected it to be.
Right.
Hmm?
It was good. So,
That fucking Crown Apple.
you mean that water?
Let me see that. Yeah, water.
Yeah.
It's brown. Tastes like Crown Apple.
It tastes like Crown Apple water. Messing up the game.
They gonna know. They gotta know.
All right. Anyways, it was a good movie. I recommend it. You recommend it?
Hmm. I definitely recommend it.
Okay.
It's got me in my feelings. So yeah.
It caused an emotional reaction, and that's good.
I don't like that.
You don't?
Mm-mm. I'm already emotional. I'm an emotional person. So damn, it just made me recap every fucking thing, and I just ain't trying to think about that right now. I've been drinking Crown Apple. The fuck?
Well, I will say,
Gonna be a Drake and hit up all my exes.
it's better that this movie, this is not like your average black movie where black people are getting consistently beaten down. It makes you hate white people. It does make you, it makes you have a reaction towards the police, but at the same time, I'm not gonna go out and go find a cop and do something like that kid do, you know?
Yeah, that really pissed me off.
Right.
Like it threw a fucking wrench in the movie.
But why do you think the director would do something like that?
Maybe she wanted to make it
Because it came
more
out of
realistic.
nowhere.
Maybe I'm pretty sure something like that has happened. I know something like that has happened. So everything she put in there was realistic as fuck, was relevant, has happened.
Right.
So I'm thinking either she was trying to do that or she wanted to throw another side of someone's perspective. Like, what would I do if I was in that situation? Because there's been people that are in riots or in protests that get approached like that. And they probably get so angry that they want to do shit like that, but they don't have nothing on them, or they just get scared and let fear control that. But in that movie, it happened.
Right.
And, you know, a lot of things that happen in movies, like video games, that we want to do that we can't, we live through that. So maybe that was just kind of like...
that's a good point.
Maybe like that.
That's a good point. You know, that stuff that you really wanted to do, but you're too afraid to do, we're going to put this in the movie. And the surprising thing is that I didn't see it coming. I didn't see that coming at all. It was very, like, quick. It was very quick because the way the cop was talking to the kid, hey, man, just go home, man. I will arrest you.
Genuine.
Yeah. The cop really cared because he looked at him like, you are me. You're me just on the other side. Dude, go home, man. I don't want to... Shot. Through the head. And I was expecting the kid to have like a barrage of bullets get shot through him afterwards, because realistically, if a kid was to pull a gun on a cop and to shoot him in front of other police officers, he would have been lit.
Yeah.
Immediately.
On top of that, when he did that, he just stood there. See how the cop just stood there?
Yeah.
Like frozen?
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe he thought he was just fucking with him.
Yeah.
But then again, you could tell he was scared.
Yeah.
And then he pulled the trigger.
Right. So that's great acting. Because he didn't have that, you ain't going to do nothing. He was like...
Yeah. I don't know what to say to you right now,
Hey,
but
man.
I'm just going to look
Hey,
at
man,
you.
KO. Anyways, that's enough ranting about the movie. Dang, 25 minutes. If you sit through all of this, you a G. I'll tell you that right now. Anyways.
Sorry.
No.
25 fucking minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's the theme out song?
check out the soundtrack because I know I will. I'm pretty sure it'll be on Spotify.
Moses Sumney on that motherfucker. I know her is on there. They got some dope ass. Yeah.
It was a lot of good guitar riffs too, because in between the cut scenes, there would be always somebody playing a guitar. We got the guitarist in the building, and I'm telling you, I love the music in between the cut scenes because it wasn't just always quiet. So it was very good. So, anyways, Sir Cash, I'm signing out.
Adios.
All right, y'all.
Bonita papi.
All right, next time.
IG Bonita papi.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, shout out to IG.
Yeah, IG Bonita papi.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go follow her and stuff like that. You know, Sir Cash. So, anyways, we're gonna go check out Joker for her, and then we'll do a review on that too. So, it's just, it might be in a dollar movie, so it might not be as comfortable, but we'll get it going. So, all right. Peace.
You gonna have to go ahead, exit out of this motherfucker.
No, we're gonna keep it going.
I was gonna say, when you edit this, make sure you zoom in on certain parts of my face. You see me like looking in the camera and shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably not gonna happen.